Good morning everybody and welcome to Felixstowe Matters. I'm Mike Amos and you won't see me in front of the camera quite so much as you used to. But today I've got with me John Goodwin. Welcome John.
Thank you, Mike.
Welcome back I should
Yes,
say, because you
yes.
used to be one of the local guests here. And we're going to talk about Felixstowe, what things are going on in Felixstowe, what should be in people's minds, up-to-date things.
Yeah.
And to do this I'm going to use your article from the Flyer.
Right, yeah.
So we'll take the topics.
Should get even more people agitated.
Well, it should get more people agitated. I know. I do read the letters sometimes, and sometimes people aren't quite so kind as they ought.
No, compliments don't flow my way.
They
That's
don't
no
do that,
problem.
you know.
I like
No.
to. Can I may before we start just say it's lovely to see you back here, and you have
very
been
much.
missed. You know, you were the face of Felixstowe TV, and it's good to see you're back doing it again. So.
Well, the
Thank you
place
for
is
that.
getting a lot older now.
Join the club.
Few more wrinkles.
When I first had grey hairs, I used to pull them out.
No, you treated the black.
Yeah, if I see a black one, I have a party.
John, looking through your article here, we'll start at the beginning. We've got headings such as Felixstowe Fire Station, the new academy buildings, the old academy buildings.
Indeed.
And down to local history council, TV advertising and maths. There's lots of interesting things here. There's more over the page, and let's sort of go through and
certainly,
see.
yeah.
First of all, the fire station.
Yeah.
Now, I was a fireman. I know roughly, although it's a while ago now, I know roughly how the fire station.
Indeed,
works.
yeah.
Obviously, we lost our full-time crews.
We sort of have, and I think, to be honest, we will lose what little bit we've got at the moment. I think, through legislation and the hard work put in by the fire service on such things as home fire safety checks, smoke detectors. I see your battery's missing from yours, by the way. One up to me.
It's on the list.
But all that has cut down fires, and of course people don't have coal fires like they used to do on all those sort of things, so the incidents of fire are very, very minimal. I put in the article there, and it's common knowledge, it's in the consultation document. Felixstowe Fire Station gets 1.64 calls a week on average. Most of those calls are at night, when we've never ever had a full-time fire crew anyway.
Yeah.
And then a large proportion of them, sadly, are false alarms, which I think is absolutely awful. You know, you call it an emergency service. Funny enough, the Trimley St Martin Parish Council, they were some bit tasked about the fire station, so I organised a meeting with them there. The alarm went off, all the crew piled in, then all the crew drank tea and went home again because it was a false alarm.
Yeah.
And you know, not only is it the cost involved, but of course you're ruining people's evening when they could be at home with their families and suddenly got pitch out for a false alarm.
Yeah. Well, we used to have actually 2 full-time crews here.
We did.
They
we
got
did
cut
it. Yeah.
down to just a
Yes.
four-man
Three
crew.
years ago that it all. It's the ongoing thing of saving money. There isn't any money there. We all know that. And I fought long and hard with this. I called 2 public meetings and only had one in the finish because not many people turned up.
Yeah.
In fact, there were 60 people turned up. But the plan then, the original plan, was to make Felixstowe an on-call fire station. No whole-time crew there at all. So as I say, I fought long and hard. Obviously, you don't do it in the glare of the press. You do it in Endeavour House, where all the decision makers are. And I managed to get that put back so that we went to five-day whole-time crewing, which that was okay, on-call weekends and night times. And the plan always was that after a year of 5-day whole-time crewing, it would go down to what's known as nucleus crewing. Well, there's a crew of 4 firefighters stationed at Felixstowe, but the likelihood of ever getting all 4 on site at the same time is just non-existent because they have holidays. Hopefully they don't have much, but they do obviously have sick time, and they do an awful lot of training. We've got a fantastic training centre at the Army base at Wattisham. So there's hardly ever anybody there. You might get one firefighter sitting there scratching his head, wondering what to do with himself. Some of them do studying there, but it's a boring time for them. And the idea is that we'll go wholly on-call firefighters. In Felixstowe we have, I think, 21 on-call firefighters, and they know at any time who can be on call or not, because obviously, you know, if you're on holiday, you're not available, etc., etc. But with all the modern IT stuff, they know exactly who can turn up or not. And if there was ever a situation where there was not sufficient on-call firefighters, then they would move crews in from elsewhere. So there will always be cover in Felixstowe. You know.
As I said earlier, I was a fireman, and we were a 2-pump retain station.
Yeah.
We were called retain then,
Yeah.
part-time firemen.
I don't know why they're called on call now. I really don't. But somebody had an idea, I guess.
We had it in our heads that we were the full-time firemen.
Yeah.
We were available day
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
night. We didn't do 8-hour shifts. Anyway, we had 2 pumps in our station,
Yeah.
and that was enough to service our town. But we used to have efficiency call-outs, and now and again one of the officers from Colchester would come over, set the alarms off, and they'd time us.
Yeah.
And we actually had a target time to get a pump out the door with a crew of 3 minutes.
Yes.
And that's not bad,
No,
considering everybody was at work,
Yeah.
or whatever they were doing at home. You had to get a pump out the door. The target time was 3 minutes. Now, I guarantee that if you had a full-time crew on the station, it wouldn't be much short of 3 minutes.
No, exactly.
You know?
And I hate to keep on about it, but just, you know, the ongoing thing at Endeavour House, Suffolk County Council, I would guess all councils everywhere, it's money. There just isn't the money available. We've had all the arguments, Operation Stack, which fortunately doesn't get called very often now, the A14 blocked for the bridge, for instance, which happens from time to time, a fire in a care home, fire down the port. Well, that is the perfect storm, and you cannot legislate for the perfect storm, which may never happen in any of our lifetimes. The one thing I would say is that the fire crews, they are all totally, utterly dedicated, and the on-call guys and girls, mustn't say guys, because there are a lot of lady firefighters, they put heart and soul into it. And let's face it, if there's a fire in this building, we're going out of the door, they're coming in, which you of course know, you know. So I really take my hat off to them, because you know their dedication and their training is second to none.
I know that they are very, very skilled people.
Oh heck, yeah.
Health and safety in my day was not quite like it is today.
It was welly boots and get in there, boy.
It was, you know. Health and safety obviously existed, but you know, it was much more.
I think I put in that copy of the flyer that if anybody wants to have a look around the fire station and to look at the appliances, I can arrange that for them, because it's fascinating what they can do. And the crews, you know, they are so enthusiastic, and they just love to share with people what they can actually do.
It's such a worthwhile job.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Of course, in our town here, we're a friendly town. That's another one of your topics, I think, a friendly town. Yeah. We are a friendly town. I would like to think that we are. We have other organisations. You've got the community first responders, the ambulance service, of which I'm one of them as well.
Yes, a blood runner, which all sounds rather ghastly, doesn't it?
Yeah, now the blood runner is such a successful, we are victims of our own success. It's called SERVE, which is a service by emergency rider volunteers. It was a motorcycle service, but it's not totally motorcycle, because we have to have cars. And the NHS at night have trouble getting emergency blood supplies. Yeah. We come on duty at 7 at night, we go off at 6 in the morning. That's our duty time. We have controllers that are on every night. And when a hospital gets an emergency request for blood or platelets or anything like that, we get the call, we set up the relay, we get it from the blood banks to the hospitals that need it. That may require going through the Essex people as well. You've got the Norfolk people, you've got Hearts and Beds just surrounding us here, and we're very successful. Ipswich Hospital is our most busy hospital. That's the one that
of course, yeah.
Hospitals don't keep blood.
No. You're in danger of firing me off now, because there are so many voluntary organisations, and the mainstream media just will not give them any cover at all. I mean, do you ever read anything about SERVE? No. You know. You don't.
Well, we're just deviating a little bit here, but
no, by all means.
We did have a policy about 18 months ago now, just over 18 months ago, because we're a nighttime service, we don't get seen.
No.
So when we do our fundraising, people don't know who we are. They say,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. What do you do? Who
what
are
do you
you?
do? We've never seen you.
Yeah.
So we've got vehicles, we've got marked up vehicles, we've got blue lights on vehicles, we've got motorcycles, we've got big trailers now, we've got exhibition trailers, things like that. We have to raise our profile, and we've done that in 18 months. People know us.
Yes.
And you know, sometimes I just bring my car down and park it in the town, so that people
Yes. So
see
people
it
see it there.
locally.
Yes.
And then when we stand outside Asda or whatever with our buckets, people say, "Oh, I saw you in that car in Felixstowe."
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
They know. But this town is full of volunteers.
It is
You've
incredible.
got, we're moving on to another subject now, but the friendly town and the volunteering people in this town, Salvation Army, do a fantastic
incredible.
job.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic job. People just don't realise
No.
what the Salvation Army do. You've got the pastoral people that
Oh,
walk
the
around
yeah,
late at night.
yeah,
Well,
the
they're
town
called the
pastors.
town
Yeah,
pastors,
yeah.
There's another
Funny enough,
branch
the
of it.
lady captain from the town pastor, she from the Salvation Army, I apologise, and Nikki, she is a town pastor as well.
Yeah.
Because I go to the Salvation Army, and every so often she doesn't show up because she's been on duty all
She's
night
been
long.
on duty
Yeah,
all night, yeah.
yeah.
What a wonderful service. Just
Oh,
to
yeah,
know that
yeah.
there's someone there
And they-
who cares.
If you talk to them, they just
Yeah.
calm everything down, you know.
Yeah.
And now, you mentioned Friendly Town, which of course it is, and now the pastors, town pastors, are known to the sort of the nighttime economy people, so they all have a sort of a
Yeah.
laughing, jeering conversation across the road with each other.
Absolutely.
And I think that's brilliant, and,
Yeah.
and that is,
Yeah.
there's a saying, isn't it, you only insult the people you like, and I think that's absolutely lovely, and
Yeah.
it's so true.
Yeah.
And I do take my hat off to the town pastors and indeed all the voluntary organisations.
Well, we've got another good one in the town as well. There's the inshore lifeboat that we've got.
Yes, John
run
Creswell,
by,
yeah.
Run by John
Creswell, is it?
Creswell,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Obviously had a big accident over when we had our floods. The vehicle got written off, and the boat got written off as well.
Oh, I didn't know that, I must
Yeah, there
admit.
was
Yeah.
they were going to the flood night. They
Yeah.
were off on their way to either Southwold or Oldborough. No, they were on their way to Snope, I think, and going up the A12 there, just at Marlsham. Gust of wind caught the boat, and
Oh,
turned the whole thing
yeah.
over. The boat careered up the road, smashed its engines. There was a big accident.
Mm.
2 or 3 of them hurt. John was hurt himself. But there's another organisation within this town that's funded by
Yeah, all
people who
donations,
care,
yeah,
all
yeah.
donations. And of course you've got the lifeboat. I know the lifeboat's over at Harwich, but that's just where it's stationed.
Oh,
It's-
indeed,
it's,
yeah.
You know, it's another too. But people say to us in Serve, in the blood runners, they say, "Oh, the NHS ought to fund you." No, we wouldn't want that.
No, the air ambulance are exactly the same. They're
Yeah.
terrified of being funded, aren't
Yeah,
they?
we do not want to be funded by the NHS because they put so many rules and
Yeah.
regulations onto you. Can't do this, can't do that. No money for this,
Yeah.
no money for that. If we want something, we raise the money, we go and get it.
You get the foul B word, bureaucracy, don't
Yeah,
you? You know?
bureaucracy. You do indeed.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's move on to another subject because we've covered.
We did diverge slightly, didn't we?
I love the fire station. I love the firemen. They're great.
Oh, fantastic! The whole lot of them. Yeah,
Everybody,
yeah.
Anybody who works for charity has got to be a dedicated person.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Got to be. You know, the know.
Yeah, the volunteers. Are,
Let's have a word about the new academy. Obviously, that opens very shortly.
does I was very privileged. I got a tour around with a guy called Chris Ozanne, who's ultra keen, and there were several of us went, and it's absolutely fantastic. And they built, I think they've spent 18 million there, which I put in there,
That's
and
right.
everything is state of the art. It's really a beautiful place. Now originally it was going to cost 30 million. Or 32, so what on earth they would have spent the other money on, I don't know. But I mean, it is the most fantastic place. And obviously the hope is that the Felixstowe results will now, zoom ahead.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. Well,
everything is there. You know, there shouldn't be any excuse now with split sites and everything else. It's absolutely
well, it's
great.
a wonderful opportunity for the town, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
The Orwell and the Devon schools were always not in competition as such, but there was never
The twain
war
sort of
between
thing. No,
the two, was
no.
there, you know? And in the old buildings, no matter what people say, how good the teachers or anything are, if you're in old premises or outdated and everything,
Oh, those
the
buildings were.
quality of education is going to be lower, isn't
The
it?
buildings were just tired,
Very
weren't they?
tired,
Really,
very
really.
tired.
I was at children's presentation the other week, and they were saying, you know, what are you doing over Easter? And one, you know, we're going this, we're going that, we're going somewhere else. And this one young lad, he said, I'm going to a new school after Easter, and he was so thrilled, and I thought that's fantastic. You know, he was really, really keen, and he gave a little bit on the academy, and I thought, fantastic. You know.
Well, I think buildings have to be fit for purpose nowadays.
Oh yeah,
the whole ethos of education has changed. You know, even libraries don't have to have books in anymore, do they?
No.
Library, you know. So
the libraries, I mean, that's a fantastic service. We mentioned I mentioned the B word, bureaucracy, and when we were talking about doing something with the libraries and saving $3 million a year, there was all sorts of chaos let loose, and a resident of Felixstowe who felt he could run the libraries, we took him up to Endeavour House and we met the head of the library service. And this guy, he said, he's a table thumper. He said, why have you got all these layers of management before you get from, you know, you as head of library service down to the actual libraries? And this chap gave the most wonderful, honest answer ever, because he said, we are a bureaucratic organisation. This is what we do. Well, we've stopped all that now, and it's an independent, provident society, I think, and it's gone great guns. And no libraries have closed, and a lot of them are opening longer hours, and there's a real buzz about them, and it's fantastic. And they can do things. They haven't got to go to Endeavour House and say, well, can we do this or can we do that? They just get on and do it. And I've always said, I think Felixstowe has probably got the best library in Felixstowe, and I really think we have. And the staff are brilliant in there.
And get lunch.
Oh yeah. It's just wonderful, and the room at the top, it gets so much use, and it's just fantastic. The listening service, which I have a murky hand in. I suppose I'm just a figurehead because I don't do anything, but I sort of try and help them where I can. The listening service are there. They have Top Time, which is the most fantastic organisation. I mean, if you want to go and film somebody, go and film Top Time. They had a writing competition amongst the Top Time people, and this lady, she told this harrowing story about she was happily married for donkey's years, and the husband used to bike to work, come home for lunch, go back. She said he had his lunch and he never came back, and this was a real tearjerker. And I said to her after, I said, did that actually happen? She said, no. She said, I made it up. It's brilliant. But the skills there again, the skills that these people have got, just, you know, phenomenal.
Well, that goes back to the schools again, doesn't it? You know, they are fantastic, purpose-built for modern day requirements. Fit for purpose, I think, is what people say, isn't it?
I mean, it's must be really. I mean, children never see going to school as an honour, but I think to go to a place like that has got to be an honour.
It's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be. So, which leads us on to the old buildings.
Yes.
I know the Orwell's going to be reduced to rubble, is it?
That's the story. Apparently, it should start pretty soon. I don't know if it will or not, but you know. That's the story.
We went to the sad incident, so I was really just couldn't get around the school, but we won't dwell on that too much. But
it's in the bracket of you couldn't make it up, isn't it?
Yeah, that really is a very sad incident. You'd think people, when they leave school, would actually grow up a bit.
Well, you know, when I first had it, I thought, it's some, you know, if you like, of the hoodie generation, going to just show that, but it wasn't. It was, you know, it was adult people, one assumes.
Should have grown up.
Yeah, and one lady, she was quoted in the local press, and she said, what they should have done is opened it up to people when it was finished with students and given us all a pen so we could write on the walls. And I thought it was fantastic. You know, you want to vandalise a place, you can bring your own pen.
But, you know, obviously they're going to reduce it to rubble. I think it's going to be the playing fields, isn't it?
I think so, yes. Yeah.
Which will be good, no doubt they'll be fit for purpose as well.
I think if you look at the playing fields, they really are, you know, they're top notch, they're looked after incredibly well.
I don't think the Orwell School as a building will be missed.
No, ghastly old place.
Is another kettle of fish. It's a slightly different type of building, isn't it?
Well, I was had an email about it because the guides have got terrible problems with that site, and I had an email saying that it's to be demolished from July. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what the email said, because when I say the guys have got terrible problems, they have their headquarters sort of on the Deben site, and there's always difficulties for them to get in and out of the site, and they won't give them a key, which I think is a little bit unfair.
Oh, right.
You know, because they're all in the business of children, aren't they?
Yeah,
You know, so if
yeah,
you can't
absolutely.
trust if you can't trust guiders, who the heck can you trust? You know.
Absolutely.
So that's an ongoing one, and it's, you know, I'm trying to organise a meeting to see if we can go somewhere with it. But it is frustrating for them because their old hut was vandalised. They've got this lovely new one, which they worked so hard to get funding for. Everything is all done, fantastic place, and now they can't get to it. And the people down Nursery Walk are less than friendly if they go down that one park.
Yeah.
So it's a horrible situation they're in, and I really feel for them.
Well, let's hope that one plays out.
Well, yes, I keep doing what I can in exchange for tea, so I should have about 3 gallons of tea waiting me by the time we finish.
Yeah. There are other organisations that use those fields, actually, use the school premises, isn't there?
Yes,
There's,
yes.
the Local History Council.
Yeah, they're up at the Maidstone one, the Orwell, what was the Orwell, yes.
There's the Family History.
Yes,
Family
yeah.
History people.
There's a little nursery who I can never remember the name of, and of course there's Leading Lives and the Hockey Club.
Yeah, and the Hockey Club.
And I mean, they just breathe life into the whole thing, the Hockey Club, because they have a bar which obviously is not open when the students are there, but the bar sort of keeps everything ticking over, and you know, it's self-perpetuating, which I think is fantastic. And the amount of people involved in the Hockey Club, just incredible. Our granddaughter, she used to come in from Milesford to play hockey there, absolutely loved it, you know. And again, another voluntary body, you know, working the socks off and doing really well. So.
There are, and I hope these figures are correct, in this town, in clubs and that sort of thing, clubs, associations, 400
I know, it's
clubs
incredible.
and
Yeah.
associations in this town. I hope that figure's correct. It's a figure
Well,
that I was told.
I thought it was 462 because
okay.
our adult social care, County Council, they will go and have the Felixstowe 100 and find out how many voluntary bodies were. And myself, Graham Newman and Nick Barber, we paid for a day at the Orwell to try and get all these bodies along. And we didn't get them all, obviously, but they came up with 462 different bodies.
Now,
you
if
know.
somebody can't find something to do in Felixstowe,
if you're
they're
bored
not
in
trying,
Felixstowe,
are
it's
they?
your fault. Yeah,
Yeah. So if you're
I mean,
bored here.
everything from bowls to badminton to basketball.
Absolutely.
We're on the B words again, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, it's the very young to the very old, isn't it? You know?
I mean, I'm no golfer, but the golf club, they're keen to get youngsters involved, and apparently the youngsters are really, really good. Any sport, you know, or most sports, it's old to the young, and I think it's fantastic, you know. And then you get all the, like the flower club. There's a Colnish flower club, and I pitched up at one of the, I think it was an AGM, and there's hordes of them. You know, they filled the spa when it was fillable, and it was just fantastic, you know.
Well, we won't talk about the spa.
No,
we'll
no,
leave
no.
that for another day.
Well, that's Suffolk Coastal, so I mustn't make any acidic comments about that.
You mustn't at all. But as you say, there's no reason to be bored in
I don't think so. No, no.
There's something somewhere.
I think that the hardest part in anything is if we haven't got somebody to go with, as walking through the door that first time.
It is.
But I think once you've got over the threshold, as it were, then I think Felixstowe being a welcoming sort of a community, then you'll be in.
Yeah.
Unless you're somewhat obnoxious, which people would say I am. So I don't belong to any clubs, you see.
It doesn't take too much to be a friend, does it?
No, it doesn't. No,
Just a friendly word is usually enough to.
Yeah.
It means a lot to people who don't see.
Oh, I think
a lot
so.
of
Yeah.
people are within their own homes. They're there all day. They see nobody. Maybe a carer pops in twice a day. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Sad.
But there's an organisation in Walton, the visiting, Friendly Visiting Society, I think it is. And that's the most wonderful organisation, and the people who run it, they're not teenagers, put it that way, and they organise all these things, and they're just fantastic. And they are one of their claims to fame is they always have the first Christmas do, and I think they have their Christmas do sometime in November. But it's brilliant, you know,
It's fantastic.
absolutely brilliant.
It is, yeah, wonderful place. Felixstowe is a wonderful place. One I must just mention, and it's not well known, it was quite well known, but it's not supported us quite so much. We actually have a young woman called Penny Parker who trains guide dogs.
Yes, I've seen her
She
about,
walks
yes.
baby or puppy,
Yes, yeah.
puppy dogs. Fantastic lady, very, very dedicated to what she's doing.
Oh, yeah.
and she makes a wonderful job.
I think
we even train guide dogs in this.
I know, it's incredible. Not at all. Jan Garfield, I think Penny is one of her charities.
That's right.
So Jan Garfield, of course, being our Lady Mayor, who I'm normally rude to, but I won't be on this occasion because she likes it. She likes when I'm rude to her.
Well, I was talking to her only last Friday because Teresa Kofi has moved her constituency office to our town as well.
Yes, I think that's good.
She likes our town so much that she's come to work here. Moved her office into town.
I admire her, well I would do I suppose, because she's like me, she's a Conservative, but I admire Teresa for the fact that she always turns up, you know.
She does.
She's not always given to good timekeeping, but she, whatever it is, if you hold something, she shows up, and I think that,
isn't she?
oh yes, and she never forgets a name. I forget everybody's name. It seems so embarrassing, but Therese never ever forgets a name, and I think very, very, you know, she's really
welcome to the town. Is all I can say.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah, too true.
Let's raise our profile.
Well, we're the biggest town in her constituency, and I just, you know, I think it's right that she's here, but it's good that she's here as well. And as you say, she's incredibly approachable. So yeah, good.
One last subject. We've got a couple of minutes left. One that I find grates me a lot: cycling and cyclists.
Oh, don't.
Let's ruffle some feathers.
I was walking the other Sunday morning. I was walking off down to the Sally Army, and this chap, probably in his 40s, I guess, and he sort of skimmed by me on the pavement, and I said, "You're supposed to be on the road." And he stopped and he called me everything he could lay his tongue to. He really did. Yeah, I mean, I thought I knew most swear words, but he added a few new ones in, you know, and it was just dreadful. And he kept turning around and having another go at me. I thought, well, you know, fair dues. But I understand little children riding on the path, don't mind that at all. But it's people with the head down and the backside in the air, zooming by, and that really, really gets me. And I think adults, you know, from sort of teenagers onwards, should stay on the road. I really, you know, but you know, it's.
I find cyclists. This is only my opinion, not the opinion of Felixstowe TV.
There are other opinions.
That they do think because they get a cycle lane that they own that piece of road.
Yeah.
You know, and the Trinity High Roads and Walton High Street. I find cyclists up there very, very aggressive, and even at the Garrison Lane traffic lights, they'll come bombing up the inside of you. They don't care. They'll just go round the corner, and you know they're always saying, "Oh, we'll watch out for cyclists. Watch out for cyclists." Well, cyclists, don't put yourselves in awkward positions.
No.
Be aware. That's all I can say.
There's a big campaign on at the moment, and you'll see on the back of loads and loads of LGV trucks. Cyclists beware, because cyclists will go down the near side and you can't see them. You know, and even more stupidly, they'll go between a truck and a set of railings, and of course the truck turns and they've got nowhere to go. You know?
Absolutely.
So that I think there's a duty of care on everyone. You know,
I think so.
I mean, I'm a motorist, I'm a motorcyclist, and I'm a cyclist, and I came today on my cycle, so that puts me in that bracket. So I do sort of look at it from all sides, but you know, cyclists do need to have a little bit more forethought.
They do.
You know what they're doing. I mean, I admire the fact that a lot of them cycle to work, this, that, and the other. Very, very good. But just think it through, chaps and chapesses, because it's
absolutely it's a dangerous place on the road. It's very dangerous. People that are driving cars, it's a big bit of equipment we're driving. You know, it's not as agile as a bike.
They're not going to win, are they?
No,
not
they're
cyclists.
not gonna, so don't put yourself. In a position.
Do you want my little observation, which I always smirk at? You see the Lycra crowd, you know, with the head down and the backside in the air, and they have the most uncomfortable seats, but they know where gel pads in the trousers, and I think, well, what's the point? Get a comfortable seat. You see them with a big nappy bulge as they cycle by, you know. I think, well.
Well, on that point, John, we've come to the end of our time. Thank you very, very much for coming out to talk to us.
Always a pleasure, as you know.
I'd love to have you back again, and we'll go through some more of your topics on the
well, please do.
I'm a further reader of it. If anybody wants to read John's comments on the Felixstowe flyer, please do. The flyer comes through your letterbox. Read it. He loves to hear the comments after people write letters in.
They do indeed.
Whether they're controversial or not. Great. Thank you very much, John, for coming in.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate
and as I say, very good to see you back.
I hope it is.
Thank you.
Let's hope Felixstowe goes to the limit.
Yes.
please watch Felixstowe FTV. That's felixstowetv.co.uk. Watch what we do, and if you want to come and join us, please join in, pop in and be a volunteer. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.